Darth Vader is known for his signature breathing, his cruelty, his intimidating height, and of course his black armor. But if you're a Star Wars fan who's spent any time at all on the internet, you may have seen images of Darth Vader in white armor, basically the exact opposite of what he would ordinarily wear. What's the story behind this armor, what does it mean, and what happened to Darth Vader that caused him to switch over his suits? We're going to be talking about that and more in today's episode of Star Wars Legends Lore. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Thank you once again for tuning in to another Star Wars video. Today we are talking about something strange, and we're going to the Star Wars Infinities brand. I've mentioned the Infinities brand in some of my previous videos, but for those of you who don't know, Star Wars Infinities is an alternate history version of Star Wars. There are 3 issues, one covering A New Hope, one covering Empire Strikes Back, and one covering Return of the Jedi. They start off with the central premise of what if something happened differently? How would the rest of the story change, and how would the universe as a whole change? For example, in the Star Wars Infinities version of A New Hope, Luke's proton torpedo is not successful in destroying the Death Star. Today's video deals with the Return of the Jedi Infinities, and it ends with Darth Vader getting his white armor, but what happens to lead up to that? It all starts off as Return of the Jedi did. Leia has gone to Tatooine to try to recover the body of Han Solo, which is being encased in carbonite. However, unfortunately, in a fit of rage, Jabba the Hutt has killed C-3PO, he knocked his head clean off, and now the droid is unable to translate. This leads to the plan being botched even worse than it is in Return of the Jedi. Princess Leia reveals herself early on, and the thermal detonator that she's threatened Jabba with ends up exploding. This sadly kills C-3PO, but also causes everyone in Jabba's palace to scatter, including Boba Fett, who flees with the carbonite-encased Han. Leia, R2-D2, Lando, and Chewbacca go pick up Luke, who's in the desert, in Jabba's sandcrawler. They inform him that Boba has left with Han's body, and they split up to go look for him. Luke spends so much time on Tatooine looking for clues about where Boba Fett might have taken Han that he actually misses the death of Yoda. On the Death Star 2, Emperor Palpatine senses this death and tells Darth Vader to take a Star Destroyer and go to Dagobah. Luke also senses the death and goes to Dagobah himself. He meets with the ghosts of Yoda and Obi-Wan, who confirm that Darth Vader is his father, also telling him that Leia is his sister, and that he is powerful enough to defeat Darth Vader. However, when leaving the planet in his X-Wing, Luke is caught by Darth Vader's Star Destroyer. Before being reeled into the Star Destroyer, Luke is able to record a message for Leia telling her that they are siblings and that Darth Vader is their father. Elsewhere, Lando and Leia have tracked down Boba Fett, who is trying to sell Han Solo to the Imperials so that they can use him as bait. The rebels ambush the meeting and manage to recover Han's still frozen body. However, because they're pinned down, Leia is only able to leave by stealing the Slave One. She does so, and Lando and Leia meet with the rest of the rebel fleet at Sullust. There, Han is thawed from carbonite. However, because the control panel on his slab had been broken, something in the freezing had malfunctioned, and now he is permanently blind. Elsewhere, Mon Mothma tells Princess Leia that they've received a message from Luke. It's the message from earlier, explaining that they're brother and sister and that Darth Vader is their father. She's upset, but she says somehow she's always known. Because of Lando and Leia's delay in reaching the rebel fleet, the rebels have already launched a strike force on the planet of Endor. While this is happening, Darth Vader has taken Luke in his Star Destroyer to meet the Empire on the Death Star 2. Leia, using Slave One as cover, also goes to the Death Star 2, pretending to be Boba Fett. Her plan is to confront Darth Vader, which is kind of ironic because in the movie version of Return of the Jedi, she tells Luke to run away. Here she's doing the exact opposite. Regardless, Lando and Han discover what's happened, board the Millennium Falcon with Chewie to try to chase after them. By now, however, the shield for the Death Star is up, the Endor space battle has commenced, and they can't get to the space station. Without the help of the Ewoks, rebel forces on the ground are struggling, and they've actually been attacked by the Ewoks themselves. They do major damage to the shield generator, but are unable to destroy it. Chewie is injured as one of the turrets of the Millennium Falcon is hit by blaster fire, so Han mans the turret, and with some good flying by Lando, they're able to finish off the shield generator. On the Death Star, Darth Vader has brought Luke to Palpatine. Later, Leia is also brought up by some Imperial guards. Palpatine orders Vader to attack Leia, which she does, however Luke defends her. The two struggle in a lightsaber duel, with Luke revealing to Darth Vader that Leia is also his his daughter. Vader is initially not redeemed, but after having his arm cut off by Luke, Luke refuses to fight, and the combined efforts of him and his sister manage to convert Darth Vader to the light side. As this is happening, Wedge and his X-Wings have attacked the Death Star without the help of the Millennium Falcon and managed to do serious damage to the reactor. Sensing this, Vader, Leia, and Luke flee the Emperor's throne room, with the Emperor nowhere to be seen. Vader says thank you to Leia for helping to redeem him, and instead of being dragged out of the Death Star by Luke, now has his two children propping him up. The Millennium Falcon parks in the Death Star's hangar, and instead of Luke leaving on a shuttle, they leave together in the Millennium Falcon. Later, everyone meets with the gathered Rebel fleet, who have been successful in defeating the Death Star 2, but have not managed to kill Emperor Palpatine. They recognize that they're going to have to get to Palpatine before he manages to get to them. The last shot of the comic is Darth Vader revealing himself in his new white armor, saying that he's sure he can be of assistance. Darth Vader has joined the Rebel Alliance, perhaps at this point the New Republic, and will now help hunt down the Emperor along with his children. And that's the story. And I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, why do you even bother talking about what if scenarios? Isn't this essentially fan fiction? I say not really, because this was still an official Star Wars publication, although it was never canon. There was a lot of work put into it, and it really tells a fun story, and I wonder how the story would have progressed after this point. Darth Vader could have helped train Luke even further. Perhaps he could have healed himself somewhat with the light side of the Force. Perhaps Leia could have been trained as well, and they would have had a very powerful family of Force users leading the New Republic. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the stories? Do you like the Star Wars Infinities brand generally? Would you like to see more of these what-if scenarios? Let me know that and more down in the comments. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, this has been EckhartsLadder. May the Force be with you.